Alright guys, so somebody, don't worry, we won't name names, ended up breaking this tile, and now we gotta replace it. I'll give you the rundown of what happened. Somebody wanted to hang up a sign on this door. It didn't stick very well. Broke the tile. No, that somebody wasn't me. It's not like I break everything. Well, it doesn't matter who that somebody was, because DC's on the job, so we're going to get this fixed up real quick. So as you can see, the damage is pretty much only on this one tile. I don't want this here anymore because this is actually pretty sharp. If I'm walking around barefoot, that's going to hurt. So we're going to want to replace this whole tile. It's actually cracked all the way up here, so this isn't salvageable at all. We got to take it out. So what we're actually going to do is cut along this grout line to remove this tile. You might be thinking, why don't you just smash this up and pull it out piece by piece? Well, when you hit it and it expands, when it breaks, you could actually damage other tiles, so you could actually be doing more damage than you are actually fixing. So I got my multi-tool here with my carbide grout abrasion tool on it. We're going to go along the edge of this grout line, remove that grout, and then we'll be able to safely remove this tile without damaging any others. Okay, so now that all the grout in the grout line is removed, it'll be much easier to get this old cracked tile out of here. As you can see, especially where it's cracked, it'll just come right up. Meanwhile, before I could barely get it up. But because there's no grout now, there's nothing really holding it, so we can just pull this up. Alright, I got it. Alright, as you can see, I got quite the mess here. So what we're going to do is just vacuum all this stuff up. When we relay the tile, we don't want any of that underneath this. So make sure everything's all clean, and then careful of the tile you take out. It is sharp. Okay guys, so as you can see, we got our old tile removed from here, and you can probably see all the way from over there, there are some areas where I was pulling up the tile, where it actually pulled up the concrete board too. Not a big deal. I'm just going to fill it in with some grout. This isn't a heavy traffic area or anything. Normally I would probably cut this out and replace it, but this is just a little corner piece, so I guess it's going to be up to you on whether or not you want to try and replace this or not. Is it a big deal for just one piece? I don't think so. Other people might disagree, but that's what I'm doing here. That's why you'll probably see some different colors in here. I'm just filling in the gaps. Alright, so here you can see the different kind of colors. I'm just filling it in with grout mix. I'm going to be using this for the base that I'm going to put the tile on, and then I'm also going to be using it in between the tiles. So if you're replacing a tile, you might not be as lucky as I am. It looks like the homeowner previously started laying tile right here, so this is actually a full sheet right here. That means I'm not going to have to warm up my wet tile saw and cut some pieces. But if you did cut out a tile that you need to cut, here are some ways you can do that. So here's my wet tile saw, pretty similar to a table saw. You got your spinning blade right here. The bottom base in here is actually filled with water to keep that blade completely wet, so that way it won't get hot when it's cutting that tile. But if you don't have one of these, you can also use, here's an angle grinder. You can actually use one of these too. Just make sure you got a tile cutting blade. Or you could use the multi-tool, the same blade that we used to cut the grout. Whoa, did this thing just go full circle? So this grout's just about dry. I'm gonna get this surface ready. Gonna drop some grout on it. And then you get yourself one of these. This will help you evenly spread the grout all the way around where the tile needs to go. Alright, so not my best work, but it'll work. Okay, so here's my tile. We're pretty much going to do the same thing and just make a nice even coat on it. Look at that, perfect. And we're just gonna slide it in there. Put a little pressure on it. That way you know it'll get good and smushed and tight in there. Alright, and then there you go. Normally you'd probably put a spacer in here or something, but since this is where he started, all I have to do is push this into the back corner and that pretty much lines up perfectly. So now we're going to wait for this to dry and then we'll come in and grout on the lines right here. Time for a beer. Okay guys, it's actually the next day, and as you can see the tile's nice in place and it doesn't move around. You want to let that grout underneath cure for probably about 24 hours before you start doing anything else. But now we're going to do the grouting on the lines. That way that'll keep that tile in solid place. It won't be moving around. It won't ever break free. It'll be nice and solid. So I'm using the same stuff we used on the bottom. It should match the existing color here. And now instead of using a trowel, we actually have a grout float. Mine's a little used. I could use another one. This is used to take the grout and really smush it in between the cracks. You want it foam like that, so it's a little bit workable. So all we're going to do is open up our grout, grab a good chunk of it, and don't worry about the mess. It's going to be messy no matter what. So what we're going to do is just kind of smush this grout in. And we do it from every angle that you can. That makes it so that the grout really gets pushed deep into that seam. And if you guys want to know more about grouting too, I do have a Grouting 101 video. So yeah, if you're interested, go ahead and check that out too. But this is looking good. Nice and squished in there. Gonna take the excess off. There, perfect. Alright, now you're probably thinking, whoa, what a mess. Yeah, it is messy. But with grouting lines like this, it's super easy to clean it up. All you gotta do, get yourself a bucket, and just like me, I gotta go get a rag. Alright, so as you can see, it's quite a mess, but grab your rag, just get it in some water, make sure it's just nice clean water, and then just wipe it away. You don't got to wipe it too hard. You don't want to get the grout that's in the crack. You don't want to wipe all that out. But you want to wipe it hard enough to where you're getting it all off the tiles. And just like that, we're done. Alright guys, that was my video on tile replacement. Just remember this method will work for tile big or small. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And while you're down there, you know what, give me a like. I'd sure appreciate it. Thanks a lot. I'll see you on the next project.